finally closed?
But it can't be. It just can't be. If I can't get that pouch, then not only am I not getting my sister the greatest present in the history of but now I have no present for my sister at all.
Yeah, this episode sort of broke my hope for no fillers this season. Though, to be honest, I knew that hope was as likely to happen as a good election this fall. But before you thumbs down this video for not worshipping the greatness that is Maud, I'm not saying this episode was bad. In terms of filler episodes, this was a good example of the best type of filler, the relationship exploring kind. Why I classify this episode as filler is because there's no changes to the status quo from the A plot, the biggest development coming from the very underdeveloped B plot of Rarity finding a store location in Manhattan. Reminds me a lot of Rarity Investigates, where the background B plot of Rainbow Dash actually serving as a Wonderbolt reserve is much more important than the A plot in terms of future continuity. At the end of the day, Rarity, Pinkie, and Maud remain the same in terms of character development and character relationships. That's why I classify this episode as filler, because you really could probably remove it from continuity, but nothing really would change from the rest of the continuity, besides maybe making one or two references confusing in future. However, it is the good type of filler because it does what good filler does best, explore character relationships that don't get a lot of attention in story prime. Fairy Tail is often a good example of this, where filler puts spotlight on secondary characters or main character ships. The status quo remains the same in these filler, but we get to see more of their chemistry in the status quo, which for the Fairy Tail Guild is insanity.
Yes, that's right. I pulled my precious Gray inside of me to ensure his safety.
Is it just me, or does that seem really weird?
Are you jealous he was inside of me and not you?
Not really, no.
Here we get to see Maud and Pinkie's general interactions in the wild, how they bounce off each other, their interpersonal traditions, and their general care for each other is on constant display. By seeing how they hang out, we get a better grasp of their relationship. This is the sort of episode I'd love for Fluttershy and Discord to have, to explore their friendship, albeit with a little less of the filler part. But that is why this is the good kind of filler, the one that adds depth to the status quo of the universe. Not to mention, like I noted before, the B-plot does offer a glimpse of some major non-filler narrative elements. The big one being Rarity expanding her stores to another location, with the one in Canterlot being so successful. This means Rarity will be running 3 shops, which is quite astonishing actually. Also, does any brony want to place bets that a certain mayor in Manhattan will likely be employed at said new shop? Besides that, Monsense is also now a thing, so that's awesome. So yeah, I do consider this episode filler, especially since it is based off a well-known story it's obviously a homage to. Though I like this episode, the two main gripes that keep me from loving it are how it sidelines the awesome B-plot so much, and also how there is an obvious solution to the problem in plain bucking sight. Seriously, who is not screaming at Rarity or Pinkie Pie to ask Rarity to just sew one? I mean, it's bucking Rarity. She can sew a freaking bag for a freaking rock. However, that plot hole aside, it was still a good filler episode that previews future developments for Rarity, I think and hope. So a very good kickoff episode for the Fox brothers. Well, this is the Ninja DC. Keep calm and an open mind.